Well, welcome back to the shed. It's an exciting day today, and I've been teasing this project, the project that I'm starting today. I've been teasing this for the last couple of weeks, so I'm excited to show you, and I'm excited to jump into it. And I'll give you a little hint. It involves an LS3 engine. Let's have a look. Yes, that's right. Look who's back. Look who's back. So Sandy is a 4580 this is my very first full resto mod project that I've done in the shed. I didn't actually this is pre-YouTube time, right? This is Instagram time. Yeah, so I'm excited to have Sandy back in the shed. So I guess the story with Sandy is when I got Dad's EH, I obviously had no idea what to do in terms of rust repair and anything like that. And so I needed a project that had a little bit less sentimental value than what the EH was. And I always wanted to do up an old 40 series like this. So I went out about finding one and of course gave it the full treatment. So put it on an 80 series chassis. And if we look underneath the engine, put a Barra turbo in it. And yeah, so that was probably a 2-year build it took me. And I mean, there's clips, I've put clips on the channel for about, you know, the work that I have done on it and how much it cost and everything like that. So the story is that when I took it out, it's too uncomfortable for me. Like being a ute, you've only got a certain amount of seating position you can, you know, give it. And with my broken leg, I broke my leg about 8 years ago, and I've got plates and everything in it. And it just, the angle of the pedal, you know, for the throttle and that it was too much for me. So I just didn't enjoy driving it as much, but I loved building it. Like so it was a really cool car to build. Anyway, fast forward, I end up selling it to a nice guy in Queensland, Jason, and yeah, he's then just taken it, and I think he uses it up on the beach a lot and everything like that. So she's getting used and it's fantastic. But the thing that he doesn't like about it is the engine. So he's been thinking about, you know, what sort of engine does he want to put in it and that. And obviously the LS conversions on these is a pretty common conversion. So that's what it's here to do. Now, he rang me a couple of months ago and he said, look, would you be interested in doing it? And I always made a point that, you know, every car that gets built in here is for me. Yeah, I don't want to have the responsibility of like a customer car. Like it's just, I think I would then lose some of the joy of what I do and building out here. But this is probably a special circumstance because I know this car back to front and I know all the wiring and I know everything, how it all goes together and everything like that. So for me, there's no surprises for it. So, you know, I was happy to take on the job of you know, removing the Barra and putting in the LS. So that's where we've got to, and that's where we're about to start today. So there she is. That's the Barra in all of its glory. Now, if you remember, I don't think I did did I? Yeah, I've done a couple of videos on it. This thing makes over 200 kilowatts at the wheels, you know, 650 Newton meters of torque. Like the thing is a weapon. And performance-wise, it still all goes. Jason just didn't like, the torque. It's probably got too much torque. So, you know, and towing-wise as well, you know, the Barras obviously run a little bit hot. So that is just part and parcel of the Barra. You know, they do run that little bit warmer than most other engines. But yeah, it's being able to have, you know, good power, you know, to be able to tow and go on the beach and everything like that. So, you know, that's sort of the reasons why we're swapping it out. So in terms of the actual package itself, it's still good. And if you're interested in buying the full Barra package, so it's a fully tuned, you know, package, you know, reach out to me. But yeah, the plan's going to be, obviously I need to strip everything off. So probably start with the bar, take the bar work off, the winch off, take the guards off, take the whole front end out, and then I'll be able to then take the engine and everything out. I am considering taking the cab off for the only reason that when I did the VDJ80, so when I put the 1VD in that, it was so much easier just to get access to all parts of the chassis, to plonk the engine and gearbox in, see where it all mounts up, get it all fitting right, and then plunk the cab back down. Being this is a ute, one, it's easier to take the cab off, so I can probably take it off. But two, I'm not sure if I need to yet. So, I mean, there's not really that much work in taking the cab off, because the way that I built this is it would be, I think it's 4 bolts, take the steering column out, and then I even made all the brake lines to have like a removable section in the brake lines and that, so I can literally lift the whole cab up, leave the master cylinder on, everything like that. I can do all that. It's just the electrics, I'm not sure what accessories Jason's put on it since I've had it, so I'll have to have a little poke around and have a look at that first. I'll start disassembling all this first, and then we can get into that. But I just want to show you some of the things that have already been purchased to make my life a little bit easier. He's got some exhaust manifolds to put on. That's all pretty just off the shelf bolt-on stuff. The cool part, and this is the first time I've seen the Marx adapter, so this is a Marx four-wheel drive adapter. So this bolts onto the 6-speed 6L80 gearbox, and then you're then able to bolt on the Toyota transfer case, right? So very similar to the one we've got on the Barra, which is a PJ's adapter one. This is obviously Marx one. I really like how they've got the transfer case lever machined into it. I think that's actually quite nice. So yeah, it's the first time I'm seeing the Marx kit, so that's actually quite a nice kit. And it obviously comes with the input shaft, all the nuts and bolts, engine mounts. It does come with engine mounts. So these are obviously the rubber blocks. It does come with the mounts like these. Because this is a 45/80 and not, like an 80, I think they're slightly different, like they're slightly different angles and things like that. So what we've done is we've gone to McKinnon's Cruisers, and we've got their full engine mount kits and that. So I'll grind off and cut off the Barra ones and then be able to put on these ones in replacement. So those ones go on the engine itself, and then these ones go on the chassis. Then we've also got in here the rear hump sump. Obviously, because the LS comes with a front hump sump, it doesn't clear the diff. The Barra is the same, so we had to get a rear hump sump for that. So that's obviously just the sump and the pickup and the bits and pieces in there. So I'll fit all that up. So this is out of a VF Commodore, and I think it's only got like 30-odd thousand Ks on it. So it still looks, pretty brand new and in really good nick and everything like that. So he's done a good job in sourcing all that. So that's all good. How good though? How good would it look having the LS in the EH? So I just want to show you actually before I kick on. So this has obviously had now, when did I sell it to him? It was probably 18 months ago, something like that. So it's had, a good 18 months of wheeling, particularly on the beach, obviously, because he lives in Queensland. They do a lot of beach forward driving up there. The one thing that really stands out to me, for the first time that I've seen it since, she left, is the sunburn. It's crazy, the sunburn that's on all these parts and that. Like, it's like that there, that's got a chassis coating on it. I know I put the chassis coating on the snorkel and that, and just the sunburn on it is crazy. And then just little things like this, how like just exposure to that salt water, just anything that's not stainless is just going to, rust up. It's just crazy. Like there's more sunburn on that. And then there was a little situation where they had a little whoops, and it actually made the news. accidentally the car fell off. They were backing into the driveway and it fell off the retaining wall and went backwards a little bit and landed subsequently on the tray. So this has really tested out how good my welding skills are, because the tray actually stayed pretty straight, which is pretty cool. But what's happened under here is these mounts have bent and skewed, and it's pushed, like the battery into the cab and stuff like that. So I think what I'm going to do is, as part of all this, after this, I'll then, realign the cab. I'll change the mounts. I'll do all that. Just give her a good once over and send it back as she should be. So yeah, I'll do all that as part of this. But yeah, I mean, looking at all this, like even scrapes on that, just the exposure to that salt water, it's just amazing how much it just rusts stuff up just instantly. Like that's probably the one big thing that sort of stood out to me, having not seen her for a while, is that. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. If you love the beach, you love the beach. That's probably why I never go near the beach, to be honest. Anyway, that's enough blabbering from me. I think I'm gonna put the time lapse on now, start pulling this apart, and then we'll see what we've got. Okay, all done. Well, all done. The engine's out. So, yeah, we've got a nice clear engine bay. So what I'll do is I'll push it out, give it a degrease, give it a pressure clean, give me a nice clean canvas to work with. And then, yeah, so that's the barra out. I kept the gearbox on because it should have been easy to get the gearbox out, but it was a bit of a pain. But anyway, I got there in the end. The cool thing is, actually, not that probably many people will be doing this, but the cross-member mount, so the rubber mount, is actually interchangeable between the two different adapter plates. So yeah, McKinnon's have obviously made up the cross-member to suit that particular mount, and yeah, they go on both of them. So that's cool. The cross-member is pretty much going to stay where it is. So I think what I'll do is I'll bolt up all of the adapter kit to the back of the 6L80, and then yeah, plonk it in, bolt it up to the cross member, and then obviously I've got to cut off these engine mounts, and then what I'll do is I'll bolt it up to the engine, plonk it in there, and then where it sits, tack them off, pull it out, and then that's where I need to weld it in. So pretty much like what I did with the VDJ swap. Anyway, I reckon that's probably enough for this episode. Make sure you subscribe if you're interested in this build and if you've got this far. And give it a little like as well, because everything helps the algorithm as you go. I think next episode will be fitting up the LS, and then I've got to work out all the wiring side of things, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a Haltech in it, but I've got to obviously chop out all of the barra stuff. So I've got to chop out the throttle, the gearbox, and the OBD sensor, or the OBD plug. I think that's about it. I'll have to go through my notes and see what it was, but I'm pretty sure that's that. So I've got to chop all that out of the loom to then just give me the body loom left, and then obviously I'll go and run the the loom for the Haltech and the LS and that. But anyway, that'll be, I don't think wire will be next episode. I don't think we'll be all fitting it up and mounting it all, but we'll see where we get to. Anyway, that's enough rambling for me. We'll catch you next time.